Here we are again on doing the drastic alteration, time-sensitive alteration for this young lad, second generation Seaforth. Again, working on a kilt that I had made for an old comrade of mine who's since died and passed the kilt to his son. So I've started the teardown. I've taken off the top band, which I'm going to replace with something lighter. I've pulled off the canvas and the lining, and the lining. This is a bit fun because I see my label from January 2007, and then my notes when I recanvassed it for the Sun. Fessett, I made this January 2007. I altered it to November 2012. So I can reuse this canvas. So I'll put in another line underneath it. It'll be like the minutes, right? But what I've done is I've torn down, or I've pulled apart the aprons because this had been built for a rather stocky character. His son is somewhat more slender and has lost a bit of weight even further. So the problem was with alterations, the apron was getting too small. And if it gets inside of the horns of the pelvis, as it were, we're into tartan skirt country, and it's not a good look on the male figure. So what we need to do is we need to increase the width of the apron, because military kilts, particularly Seaforth kilts, I believe during the days of the apprentice system, when they had the regimental master tailor, the master stitch, and also the big contractors like Gordon's and Son, I get the feeling that they parceled out the labor, that because the kilts that I've seen, it's always the same number of pleats, 31 pleats, and it's always almost identically the same width at waist and hip. And I think also from the way that they shaped the A-line, that I think perhaps they were doing batch work. So somebody was producing the box pleats and handing it over to the master, who'd be shaping the apron to get the final fit. I don't do it quite that way. I do it quite the reverse, actually. So what I'm going to do, or at least I've pulled apart the inner apron. This had been the center. Now, because again, I'd absorbed all the extra cloth by tucking it in on both ends. I'm going to move the center of the apron over. There's the old marks. I'm going to move it like that so that the red line will be centered on the inner apron, which doesn't matter because it won't be seen. But there'll just be a slightly less deep fold at the end. Now we've got a bit of moth damage there, which is regrettable, but I'll repair that with a patch. But now what I'm going to do is, and this is almost, I think, the first time I've actually done something like this, because there have been times when I've robbed pleats to increase the size of a kilt or decrease the size of a kilt. In this case, I'm actually going to add a pleat, because this used to be the last pleat of 25 pleats. Pardon me. I'm going to sew this one up as a knife pleat attached to it, and then the apron. Sorry, this is going to be another box pleat. This is going to become another knife pleat, and then the inner apron will come to that. So we've added 2 pleats on that side to 27. I wanted to bring up to 31, which has been the standard in the past, but I really don't think I can in this case, because the center line of a Seaforth kilt must be the red line, end off. And I don't have cloth to go that way. I unfolded the outside apron and I found that. I have no idea what that's all about. So this kind of limits what I can do as far as the depth of the outside fold. But again, I'm moving from there. I'm increasing it from 16.5. I'm increasing the apron to 20 inches at the waist, 21 inches at the hip. And then I can add 1 pleat on this side, and it'll be a knife pleat as well. And then the apron will come to that. So I've added 3 pleats, but these pleats are now all too wide. So what I've done is I've sat down with my trusty tape and measured. And basically what I'm going to do from here, I've decided that this kilt, from having pleats of 3/4 and 7/8, they're going to be 5/8 and 3/4. So my next stage now, I've double checked my math. I'm going to wrap up all of the recyclable bits and put them in envelopes so they're not lost. And then from here, I'm going to press all the wrinkles and creases out of the 2 aprons. I'm going to unpick all of these seams. And then tomorrow when the cloth is dry, I'm going to start sewing it up again, because I believe that with these box pleats, I can just reduce by 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch plus here to get it to the new dimensions and sew it up again, and then another press, and then carry on as before. I'm gambling, really, that I don't have to pick all of these out and press them all completely flat. I'm gambling that I can pick them apart, repin them, and sew them up again. So let's see how that goes. I won't, the next video you see of this will be at around the time of the final fitting, because I'm simply not going to drag my cameraman away just because, oh, randomly, I think you should see this. So there we go. Thank you. And cross your fingers. Wish me luck. Thank you.